Hey, I'm Kyle Higgins, and you are watching Comics Online.
Kyle, so much to talk about for Comic-Con.
Yeah, man.
Let's start off with your big news. Congratulations, No won the movie.
Thank you. Yes. For those, I guess we can just talk about it for the first time here now. So one of the series in the Massiveverse, which is our shared interconnected superhero universe that we do at Image Comics with my creative collective studio, Black Market Narrative. One of the series in that line is called No One, which we've been working on for the last year and a half. Brian Buccellato and I write everything. It's a true crime superhero experience is the best way I can describe it. We say experience because in addition to being a 10-issue comic series, there's also an in-universe scripted podcast that we do with Rachel Lee Cook, Patton Oswalt, Todd Stashwick, Yuri Lowenthal, Tara Platt. Like, it's just a murderer's row list of actors and voice talent, all voicing characters from the book, and the podcast is also being made in the book. So the two go kind of hand in hand. There's also all these in-universe newspaper articles that Peter Nikias, a crime reporter formerly from CNN and the Chicago Tribune, we were lucky enough to have join us as a consultant. So all the newspaper articles we make, all the in-universe websites, all the viral video content, we do all of that as well. The last issue and the last episode just came out 2 days ago here while we're at San Diego Comic-Con, and today we're thrilled to announce that the story is continuing in a third medium, which is we are doing a true crime found footage superhero documentary. Brian Buccellato and I are partnering up with ZQ Entertainment and Steven Schneider, who produced Paranormal Activity, the Insidious films, Late Night with the Devil, Blair Witch, and this film is... It's being written by Brian and myself. I'm directing it. It'll be my first feature. And it's both an adaptation of the events in the comic and the podcast, as well as a continuation of the story. So you're going to go behind the scenes of the No One operation itself with all this first-person footage that has been gathered from the No One operation, GoPro cameras, security cameras, people's phones, all of it. Also seated interviews, and you're really going to get into the inner workings of not only the No One operation itself, but the accountability killing movement that kind of took over Pittsburgh, sparked by No One's actions. And that's something that we're putting together for next year. The book is called No One, the podcast is called Who is No One, and the film is called I Am No One.
That's a lot.
It is.
How far is casting at this point?
So we can't talk about cast just yet, okay. But you know, it's safe to say if you've heard me talk about our universe and what I really love and pride myself on, immersion is a really big thing for me. So while I can't talk about our cast just yet, you know, it would be my hope that as many people from the podcast playing the characters were able to come back and play them in the film as possible, so that we really keep that immersion really tightly knit. That's my intention. Okay. I'll put it that way.
I hope that you get to do that.
That's yes.
We have a lot of mutual friends, Kyle.
We do.
That's really what it comes down to. Speaking of, so let's talk about your other project.
Yeah.
You just recently in Chicago announced that you're doing Radiant Black, the audiobook.
We are, yeah.
With Will Friedle and Ryder Strong.
Yep.
How far is that into development at this point?
So it's pretty far. We're going to be recording it over the next couple months here. Do you want to hear some other cast?
I would love to hear some other cast.
Okay.
Is it more of our friends?
There's a few of our friends in there. Okay, so adding to the cast today, we're thrilled to be able to announce. So Mr. and Mrs. Burnett, who play Nathan, Ryder Strong's characters' parents, that's going to be from Batman the Animated Series, and who is No One, Mr. Lauren Lester, father of the Massiveverse, I like to think of it. For those that don't know, I'm a huge Nightwing fan. I also wrote Nightwing for 3 years at DC during the New 52. It's my all-time favorite character since I was 10 years old. Lauren Lester is the voice of Nightwing and Robin for me. So him playing the father of my own original, you know, superhero that's definitely got some Nightwing influence to it in Radiant Black is just like very much tickles my heart. Playing Nathan's mom is actually one of the greatest moms of a generation. From Supernatural and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, we have Kim Rhodes, who is joining. Joining us to play Radiant Pink, Eva Reyes, is from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Melissa Navia.
Great.
001, our big cosmic smuggler, who the Radiance and all the villain technology actually comes from, his arsenal, is from Star Trek Picard, and who is no one, Mr. Todd Stashwick. And then who else do we have? Oh, yeah. If you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, Ann Yatko is joining us to play Radiant Red, Satomi Son. And with, I've been saying this for other on-camera stuff, but I love the line so much, which is with too many credits to name, but I'll give you one, The Last of Us, playing Shift, our bad boy of the Massiverse, Mr. Troy Baker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you loaded up.
We loaded,
okay.
And that's not everyone. You know, we haven't even talked about Radiant Yellow or... well, I'll leave it there. There's a few more big surprises coming.
Okay, we'll talk about those ones later.
There we go.
Question, because time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Supermassive 2024 just hit the stands. This is the first time we really had a, we'll say, in-universe backdrop where it's connected to an ongoing story.
Yeah.
But it's still very much a standalone.
Totally.
How did the Catalyst War shape bringing this team in particular together for you?
Very, very directly. I mean, as you say, this is the first time we did a supermassive crossover one-shot where it's also a part of the Catalyst War event that we're doing in Radiant Black right now, which is our multi-timeline event where we broke the timeline into two and have been publishing two different books under connecting covers every release for the last, well, it was supposed to be done 6 months ago, but
you're busy.
Life happens sometimes, and you're trying not to die. That's the the reality for all of us on the creative team. But yes, the thing that's really cool about the way we've set up the universe, and I have to give a lot of credit to Michael Basudel, who's our editor and designer across all of these titles. It's been very important to us from day one that everything be incredibly accessible. All the books are siloed. You only have to read what you like. If you're only interested in Radiant Black, you only have to read that. If you're only interested in Rogue Sun, you only have to read that. Once a year, these characters cross over in a 50-page one-shot called Supermassive. And again, you don't have to have read anything else for those to make sense. Well, with that kind of approach, it does make doing a Supermassive that's a part of an ongoing Radiant Black event challenging to put together. But the cool thing is that if you actually go back and you look at the Supermassive one-shots from 2023 and 2022, there's a thread across all three of them on their own. So we first see Premiere and Visions of the Catalyst Empire in Supermassive 2022. In Supermassive 2023, Nathan and Marshall have to make the choice on the eve of the Catalyst Empire and the war coming of who's going to be Radiant Black. And now in 2024, some of the visions that Marshall saw in 2022 have come true, without spoiling too much, in the events of Supermassive 2024. Again, we try to lay out all the information up top so that you know what you need to know to read it if you've not followed anything else. But if you have followed everything else, it's incredibly additive.
It has been an amazing experience. You know I love your books, but
yeah, thanks,
it really has just been such a fun experience and just a joy in general getting each new issue. Supermassive 24, I think, might be my favorite one. I loved last year's, the Search for the Holy Grail, but just this was fun, and I loved Shift's dynamics, and I know you love Shift.
He's one of my favorites.
So it's been just too much fun. So we have a lot more to talk about later on. We're gonna let you get going. Stay tuned for more coverage at Comics Online.
To the hypocrites and the corrupt, the swindlers, the parasites, all those who take from their fellow man, this message is for you. For too long, this country has been choked by corruption and injustice. The vulnerable have been oppressed by the rich and powerful, who abuse the laws for personal gain at the expense of everyone under them. In the summer of 2022, I embarked on my mission to expose them, to hold them accountable, to bring change. You may think you know what happened next, but you have been deceived. You have been told that I am responsible for murder, that new laws could protect you, that I am dead. You have been told many things, except the truth. Until now. What follows is a video record, so that you no longer have to rely on what you are told. No one escapes justice, not even me. I am no one, and this is my story. violence and the corrupt, the swindlers, the parasites, all those who take from your fellow man, because, like all monsters, you believe yourself safe in the shadows. This message is for you. Is coming, where all monsters will answer for their transgressions. No one is above the law, and I am no one.